So good afternoon, September the 19th, 2013. This is CISG113, Section 3, Information Security and Privacy. Let's get started now. Good afternoon, welcome back. Today is the second day of the semester. This is CISG113, Section 3, Information Security and Privacy. We spent the first day, this past Monday, in this room, and then we spend the rest of the class in T103. Today we are fortunate enough, the legwork is set, so we can stay here for the whole period. And then you're going to do some exercise here. Okay, now first of all, allow me to get back to the website. This is the official website that I have introduced to you on Monday. And I hope some of you have already got back here, review some of the material, particularly look at the Learning Center syllabus, the participation rule, the class communication stuff, and then go over the calendar, come here, read the teacher's message for the specific week. Okay, how many of you have read this message for the week? Okay, the teacher's message. Okay, there is a teacher's message here. Okay, you can see that this is released on Monday, and I hope you finish reading it. And after the teacher's message on week number 1, okay, yesterday I did send out a discussion forum topic. Okay, that topic is basically telling you, I'm inviting you to come back to do a sharing starting from next week. Okay, next week will be the beginning with when I would like to invite individual students to make the best use of your soul time. So I invite you to sign up here, not more than 6 students on the day number 3. Each student will be given 5 minutes, so I will have 6 students on day number 3. That means next Monday. And I will have another 6 students on day number 4. That is Thursday. And I'm giving you some of the basic regulations on what you're supposed to share, how many points you're going to earn during that 5 minutes now. You're not going to share more than 5 minutes. And what are you going to share? Okay, every week, as I have already explained to you on Monday, we do have readings for the week. So you need to select a topic. During the week's reading, okay, you have 2 major topics on this week. So you select one of these. You study it, you prepare your notes. Where you prepare your notes is on your online journals. And then you draft it in such a way that you can stand up here and share with the whole class your discovery of what this is all about, okay, in not more than 5 minutes. In other words, you can say something in less than 5 minutes, okay, and you will earn a maximum of 5 points each, okay, each week. And the rule says normally each student will not be given 2 times to do the sharing per week, because you need to give some chance to other students. Okay, so you will have at most 1 time sharing. But depending on the number of students in the class, sometimes I have fewer than 10 students in one class, and it's okay for you to share more than 1 time in the second lesson. But in this class, I guess I have more than 13 students. Okay, so this is very important because it's considered as the core material, the course reading list. Okay, so this is for the reading for week number 1. And so next week, when you're going to stand up here to share, it must be selected from one topic here and or one topic here. Okay, so this means you are being encouraged to study the material. Okay, and most of these material are very much interesting. All right. So you study it and you understand what it's all about. Now, beside this readings material, you can see that in the week's material on the Moodle environment, I've given you 3 chunks of important material. The first chunk, something called a highlight of the week. The second chunk under day 01 in this week, day 02 in this week. So you can share also whatever topic here true. But those are considered as side dishes. Okay, you know the main course when you go to eat. The main course comes from reading. Okay? When you select anything from here, it's considered as a side dish. It's considered as the salad. And these are the main course, okay? Main course from the reading. So you have to understand this. It's very important that you know how to select your side dish and your main course. And then at the end of each week block, as you can see here, I have given you some tools. Okay, these are the tools. Teacher's message. You read it? This is the online learning journal I mentioned on Monday. You use this journal to take notes for what you read. So after you've read something on a particular link, you need to take notes. And the way to take notes is very simple. You get into this learning journal. So when you click on this box, you are going to type the notes. It will be a text editor, a very useful text editor, something like this. Then you type the notes here, okay? You can type the week, copy the week, okay? And then you can type whatever topic it is. You can also copy the link of the selected topic from the reading list here, and then you type up your notes. Okay, make it point forms and make some questions. Normally this is very important, okay? Because you read something, you ask a question, you observe some interpretations, and you ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from it? Normally, the sharing must be done in this manner. Observation, your reading observations, your interpretations, what is meant by this, and your lessons learned. Okay, you try to ask questions. If I spend 5 minutes reading this, what am I supposed to get out of it? Okay, and you need to use that as a tracking material, or better say, tracking tool. Say, if I'm going to spend 1 hour doing reading this week, okay, last week, looks like I have not shared that with you. You can divide that 1 hour into 10 6-minute now, okay, throughout the week. And so every time you use not more than 6 minutes to observe the reading, okay, so your reading is basically capturing actions, capture material from here, capture material from there. And then if you look at my study effort there, I also recommend each week you spend not more than 1 hour doing the writing, okay, writing the journal. So again, you can also divide that 1 hour into 10 6-minute not. So after you spend 6 minutes reading, capturing the material into this journal box, you can also spend not more than 6 minutes writing out some points of your interest. It could be your interpretation, it could be your questions. And this is one way for you to practice note-taking within the time frame that you have. Do not more than that. If you do anything more than that, you do not have any exercise of your personal habit of learning. You need to learn how to cultivate a controllable habit of learning. Spend, say, altogether, as I recommend to you, 6 hours, not more than 6 hours in this course per week. Each 1 hour has a specific purpose. And 1 hour doing reading is one. 1 hour doing journaling here is another one. I've just given you an example how you use that 1 hour reading and save another hour for journaling. 10 6-minute start is one way. But you may want to do it in 5 minutes, okay? First not. It's really up to you. The key is you must keep track of your own habit of doing that. If you don't do anything like this, you will not be disciplined enough to train yourself to have the habit of learning. That is very important as a college student. So this is an electronic journal, what we call an electronic notebook. Each week you will have a new electronic notebook for you to keep track of your learning in that week. Okay? So much for that. Of course, as you can see here, beside the journal, I've also given you in each week something called a topic or 9 discussion forum. Here you can share whatever topic of interest to you that you discover over that week, okay? And then you can share that here and ask for your fellow students' feedback, okay? Then if someone is willing to discuss with you the topic, good, that's what you're looking for. Because when you do discussions with a fellow student, he or she could bring something new into your topic. And then because of that, you don't need to spend that extra time learning it again. And what you need to do is just engage in the discussions with that student. Okay, that is very much encouraged. And don't look down on things like this. If you look at assessment scheme in your syllabus, which I given to you, it costs you, or better say, it could help you to earn 15 points in a semester. Okay, 15. And when you come up here to do sharing, you can earn extra bonus point. That will be very interesting. So it's a stimulus scheme. Whatever you do, you can earn points. All right. Beside the learning contract, beside the learning portfolio, when you are doing things like this here, you are earning your points. Okay. So it will be very interesting towards the end of the semester. And I hope every one of you has already done the survey on the first day of class. Let me see how many of you have done this. All right, I get 18 already. That's good enough, right? So if you want to look at some of these, I'm going to copy some of these to you about your perspective of why you choose this course, your expectations of that. I got all the data ready, all right? But let's carry on. Remember, each class we're going to have 3 different sections of 30 minutes. Now I'm going to use up my first section very soon, so I'm going to show you something. Let me try to summarize, okay, some of the things that we did last week, last Monday. If you look at the 2 videos here, these are the YouTube video of our class on Monday. Have you watched that? No? Yeah? That's good. Now, for those of you who have not watched it, if you missed the class, this is the YouTube video, okay? So you can watch it at home. So let me see if we can get some voice here. Now, I'm scrolling, there is no W. We use the closest. Okay, that's one way to review the lecture. And today's video will be up probably by Saturday, okay? So it's going to be good for you to review what we did. GE polls. Okay, so that it's going to be useful. And on Monday, we divided into 2 parts. One part in this classroom, the other part in T103. So you can watch it and you can pick up the points that I mentioned. Now, it's your responsibility to do that, okay? Make sure you review it, okay? It just takes you a couple of minutes to do that. And again, I would like to tell you something very specific today that is concerned with these courses. Well, I hope each one of you have actually finished reading the syllabus. Okay, how many of you do not have the syllabus? You need to bring the syllabus with you every time you come to this classroom, okay? This is very important because the syllabus tells you where we are, what we are doing, and why we are doing it, okay? And another thing that is very important is if you ever have a notebook computer, then you can bring it with you to the classroom, so much better. Because you can actually do something together. Now the best thing about the computer room that we experience in T103 is you can actually use the computer in the room. The room is not well designed. So if you have a computer and you bring with you, that will be so much facilitated in terms of what we are supposed to do. So in the first week of class, particularly on the first day we cover this number of items, and I hope you read them very carefully, particularly paying attention to the learning design. Now just now I mentioned some of the online activity on how you're supposed to write your journal. I will highly recommend you to come back to this online activity and read the specific things on writing your online journals, okay? If you come back to here, okay, you will be brought to this page. This is also the website for the course. And come to read this online learning journals, then you know some of the expectations on what you need to do to write your journals when you select a particular topic. I've just mentioned to you that you need to follow the OIA approach. It's a very rigorous approach, easy to pick up. You need to observe what you pick up. You need to try to interpret the meaning of it. Then you try to ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to learn from it? If you don't do basic thinking exercise like this, to do your note-taking, well, I would say you're not learning it at all. You need to ask questions at this time. You don't just memorize them, okay? Memorization does not help you. So this is very important. As the semester goes into our different activities, I'm going to show you different things. So today, what I'm going to tell you is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different topics. Now, I'm going to use up my first 30 minutes very soon. So let me introduce to you the very important concept of active learning. So in this class, and in every class of the semester, part of the active learning is demonstrated by your class participation starting from next week. You have your time to share with us, okay? And then we also have another portion which is characterized by active learning. Let me show you what is meant by that.
What is active learning? First, active learning involves teaching techniques that are something other than straight lecture. Second, active learning is not an entire project or assignment, but a much smaller task you give your students. However, a project or assignment can have several active learning pieces within it. Third, in order to consider something active learning, students must be doing something including discovering, processing, and applying information, not just listening to a lecture or reading a PowerPoint. Active learning can take many different forms, and instructors often use different strategies in face-to-face and online classes due to their differing approaches to teaching and learning. For example, in a classroom, the instructor might ask each student to turn to their neighbor and discuss a particular topic. In an online course, the same exercise can be accomplished using a discussion thread, document sharing, or instant messaging. The idea is the same, but the approach is different. So what about these examples are considered active learning? In our face-to-face class example, simply having students turn to their neighbor and discuss a topic is active learning. In the online course, having two students discuss the same topic via a discussion thread is active learning as well. Research shows that students learn more when they're engaged in active learning. It's important to remember that lecture does have its place in both face-to-face and online environments. However, during active learning, students are involved in much more than just reading or listening, and more emphasis is placed on higher order thinking skills, such as analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Further research has shown that students retain 70% of what they say and write, and they retain 90% of what they do. Compare this with the fact that students retain only 10% of what they read and 20% of what they hear, and you'll start to understand why active learning is so important. Now that we have an understanding of what active learning is and why we should implement it, let's look at some specific examples to give you a clearer picture of what constitutes active learning in practice. Let's take the example of a small group discussion. In a face-to-face setting, you might group students up and ask them to discuss a particular topic. While this alone is active learning, you can add to the exercise by asking each group to present their findings to the class in the form of a standard presentation, a radio or TV commercial, or a comedy skit. Now let's look at a small group discussion in an online course. You can group students into separate discussion threads and have them discuss a particular topic. Again, this alone can be considered active learning, but you can add to the exercise by having students present their findings using various Web 2.0 tools such as recording a presentation with a PowerPoint or a Prezi, submitting a voice thread with audio and a series of images that relate to the topic, or present their topic in story format using Google Maps. As you can see, the possibilities are virtually limitless, so be creative. Both our face-to-face and online active learning examples cover the higher order thinking skills of analysis and synthesis, but what about evaluation? In this example, it would be quite easy to hold a peer review of each presentation. In a face-to-face class, you can simply have students give their opinions on how appropriate each group's observations were and how well they presented the information. This should spur more conversation with the guidance of the instructor. In an online course, peer reviews can be held using a simple discussion thread or a voice thread. So what about these examples are considered active learning? In our face-to-face and online class examples, the small group discussion is active learning, as is the preparation for the presentation itself, and the peer review of the presentation. Each step in the process is itself a distinct active learning strategy. Since students retain more information during active learning, Simply stated, active learning equals better learning.
That's very good. Now you just got some idea what is meant by active learning. I would like you to learn it by doing it now. I have put 3 sets of syllabus, white A4 paper, and 2 pieces of blue A4 paper right here. What I would like you to do is, the 5 of you, okay, group together now, okay, around the syllabus and use the A4 paper to do something. I'm going to tell you what to do. And I would like the 4 of you to group together right here, using the syllabus here, the white A4 paper and the blue, okay? So could you, the lady in front, could you please come? Yes, group together. You can come to join this lady, and the 2 gentlemen facing each other. What we're going to do is we're going to engage in about 10 minutes of active learning divided into 2 5-minute sections. Would you group together? Yes, turn. You just go to the other side, you turn. On the other side you have some syllabus, you have some white paper and blue paper, okay? So we're going to step into the second half-an-hour sections today for this course in day number 2. I just showed you a very short video, the YouTube video on active learning, okay? So I think the best one is you come here, okay? You two come here. Yes, yeah. Then we have fairly clear 3 separate groups, okay? 4 persons each, 1 group exception, 5 persons each. Yes, you can face each other. Just turn around the chair. All right. So what you're supposed to do now, I want you to spend not more than 5 minutes in your first activity. Okay. Each one of you grab 1 A4 paper, white paper. Each one of you grab 1 A4 paper, white paper now. Okay. Each one of you grab 1 syllabus. Okay. I have put enough syllabus over there. Okay. Grab 1 syllabus, 1 A4 paper. Forget about the blue paper now. Just 1 syllabus, 1 A4 paper. Now get your pens ready. I want you to turn to page 1 and page 2 of your syllabus. Okay? Page 1 and page 2 of your syllabus. On page 1, you see probably 2 specific learning objectives. On page 2, you see the remaining 3rd learning objectives. There are 3 core learning objectives in this course, okay? Now I want you individually now, the 5 minutes individually, each one of you select your own learning objective, 1 out of the 3, okay? Select 1, each one of you select 1. Yeah, learning objective, yeah. You have 2 down there, you have 1 on this 2nd page, okay? Each one of you select your only 1 out of the 3. If it is first one, 1. If the second one, 2. If it's the 3rd one, 3. Now, on that single piece of A4 paper now, whatever objective you select, okay, read them very carefully. And then on that specific A4 page, write down the number of the objective you select. If it's the first one, Y of 1. If the second one, Y of 2. If the 3rd one, Y of 3. Okay? And then, study your selected objective carefully and draw a picture to represent. Draw a picture. Okay? Draw your imaginary picture to represent. You have no more than 4 minutes to do it now. Read it and draw a picture. Every one of you, does not matter. It's your creations here. Alright? I'm going to turn on the light. Are you clear with what you're supposed to do? Select 1 learning objective out of the 3. Name it using the number. If it's the first one, put a 1. If it's the second one, put a 2. If it's the 3rd one, put a 3. And then read the objective you select very carefully and draw a picture to represent it. Okay? Draw a picture. No wording. Okay? In your drawing, no English wording. Just picture. Okay? You have fewer than 4 minutes to do that. I'm going to count. When it's up to 3, 5, then I'm going to stop you. Okay? This is a very important exercise. You need to ask yourself. Alright? First, you need to select one out of the three. Then you need to put a number on the piece of A4 paper, white paper, okay, white paper. Third, represent that objective using a picture based on your interpretation. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. Not more than 5 minutes, okay? Use whatever imaginations you have to represent it. It's your picture, remember. And don't worry much about it. At this point, just draw it, okay? We're going to do it step by step. Now, select an objective and draw your picture, all right? It's your learning experience in the making. All right, very good. I see you are actively doing it. Remember, you just have less than 5 minutes time. We're using every second very carefully, okay, in class. Remember, the next time when you're here, bring your personal copy of the syllabus, okay? Every time you're here, you need to bring that copy of the syllabus. Now, make sure you don't copy someone else's picture. It's your own picture, all right? You have to do it on your own. Your personal picture of this representations. Where you see that after introducing active learning to my students in this class, day number 2 of the semesters, I invite them to exercise active learning using the syllabus I have given them and see what interpretations they could give in terms of a picture, all right? You don't need to ask questions. You use your imaginations to do it, okay? You can do it. You have less than 2 minutes left, okay? Each one of you has got a picture ready now. You will need to do some type of discussions after that, but you must get your picture ready and your selected learning objectives ready. Don't worry, there's no right or wrong, it's your representations of the learning objectives. Where I see my students are actively engaged in doing this picturing of the selected learning objectives, and it sounds very good. I'm going to count down for the last 30 seconds, and then I'm going to tell you, don't worry, it's okay. However incomplete your picture, it does not matter. It's your step to exercise your interpretations of the learning objective. Since we have only 3 learning objectives, okay? So in a minute, you're going to do something very interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to announce the time is up for you to draw the pictures now. May I ask this very simple question? How many of you have chosen objective number 1? Would you please raise your hand? Objective number, hold your hand. Okay, now would you please move here? Objective number 1's persons, move here. Okay, bring your picture, bring your syllabus, move here. Occupy one corner now. Okay, so objective number 1's people, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 persons, right? Okay, go ahead over there and use your imaginations. Share with one another in 5 minutes. Group together. Don't sit like that. You need to group together. So 2 here, the other 2 on the other sides. Okay. So bring the chair with you. I'm going to give you 1 chair. Okay. And then you can talk. You can talk right here. Okay. Let me just give you 1 more chair here. 1 more chair here. Sorry. Thank you very much. The 4 of you actually have 5, right? So you go on the other side. Yeah. So you talk about it, share with one another your picture about objective number 1, and I would like you to tell us at the end of your discussion what is meant by that. Okay, has picked objective number 2? Okay, wow. Wow, no objective number 3. Okay, then I have to divide you into 2 groups. So maybe you join here, the lady, okay? The boys go there, okay? You discuss among yourself in 5 minutes time your interpretations of your objective number 2, okay? At least you have 5 minutes, that means you can at least share 2 pictures, all right? You cannot have all the time to share 4 pictures or 5 pictures, but at least 2 pictures. Group together, face one another, now talk. Select 1 picture, who's going to volunteer first, and the person selected, you will have 3 minutes sharing, okay? With your group member. Select 1 picture, the picture selected, the person who drew it, share with your group member in 3 minutes what you draw. Okay, face the lady, you're part of the group, okay? Turn. So maybe you can sit over there and you can move that, yeah? Face the lady, yeah? So select 1 picture, and the picture, the person who drew the picture, share with the whole group using 3 minutes, okay? Comfortable, sit here. Yes. Yeah. You have not more than 5 minutes to do that. Talk. Now is your time. Select 1 picture. All right. Yes. Just select 1. Okay. And then because we don't have enough time for all the people to share. Now suppose if I select this one, if this is yours, you start sharing to them in not more than 3 minutes, and then let them ask questions. What? Yes, because you need to tell them. And then the other persons will give you feedback after your introductions. Yeah. Because we're 5 minutes, all right? Normally we can do 2 pictures, but 1 would be good enough. Yes? You should start talking about it, select 1 picture, and then the person who drew it, share with the group for 3 minutes, and give 2 minutes for the whole group to ask questions. Yeah. All right, that's very good. Just talk loudly so that your fellow students in the group can understand what you mean. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead. At the end of this sharing, make sure the other group members ask some questions because you did the same objective, all right? You must have some idea. Yeah. And if you have time, you can switch to the second picture. At the end of the discussions, I will give you a little bit more time to organize the idea, and then you will have a group-based presentation. At the end of your discussions, okay? Presentation means come here to share with us your understanding of it, okay? Yes, so you need to discuss about it, all right? So you have to exercise some kind of learning activities in class using not as much time that you're given. It would be very exciting. So don't be shy. You should be talking now. Talking to one another. Helping one another to understand your selected objective. The unfortunate thing is no one had selected objective number 3. But the interesting thing is 2 groups are working on objective number 2. Okay. My students are working on their objectives and interpretations now. It's going to be very interesting to listen to the sharing. The picture is very detailed, attentive to attentions. So 1 minute left, all right? Now I'm going to give you 3 more minutes to organize your ideas together regarding your selected objective. So when it's 3:15, I'm going to invite each group to do a very simple sharing of your interpretations of the objectives. Very good. Okay, time's up now. May I invite this first group, would you please help us to understand the first learning objective by coming up here to share with us. So who's going to become the reporter this time? Or better say the discussant. Anyone who would like to come up here, or the whole group? Yes, just tell us something of your interpretation. You can show us the picture and help us to understand your picture. Okay? Yes. Could you come up here? Introduce yourself a little bit. Do you want a partner to come with you so that you can hold the microphone, your partner could hold the picture, and I could zoom in your picture? Could someone help? Yes. 2 persons. One is holding the picture. Yeah. Anyone? Yeah. So please come up here. And of course, you can also have the microphone if you like. It's okay.
So help us to understand your objective, but first introduce yourself a little bit.
Hello everyone, I'm a freshman. So I'm a freshman, majoring in communication. So I selected the first objective, which is to help students become literate in the fundamental understanding of information security associated with the internet era, including concepts of computer and communication in security using modern day examples. So can you, my assistant, can you kindly show my picture? So this is my picture. You see a man there in a computer, and this man is, behind him there is a world. And you see this one little wire here which connects to the world. So basically he's understanding information security associated with the internet era, which also connects him to the world. And you can see there's stars at the corners. These are decorations. Thank you.
Could you introduce your helper? What's her name?
What's your name?
Anna, my major is communication.
Thank you very much. You did a good job.
Thank you.
So may I invite a second group of students? Okay, the group next to this table. Yes, could you come up here? Use the microphone. We need a helper for him because one to speak, the other to hold a picture, and perhaps you can complement each other. Introduce to us who you are. What's your major? It's long enough, you just need to prove them. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Janito, and he is Francie, right? Yeah. Francie, right? I'm from the Department of Communication, and he is from the finance. Academic. Economics. Of the, yeah. We select the number 2. I think you can reading in your syllabus first. Okay. I don't talk too much. Oh, let's talk about our picture. I know today is Mid-Autumn Festival, so our picture is really creative. There are buckets and inside many mooncakes. The main point is for free and healthy mooncake. And if you eat the mooncake, you will have the skill of case study, written work, oral presentation, and discussion. Is really creative, right? I think so. Yeah.
So the secret is eat more mooncakes.
Yeah.
And you can have all these things ready.
Healthy mooncake, there are many water, vitamin, offered in the mooncake. You can eat the mooncake, and you have a power to learn this course.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting introduction. So, when I invite the last group of students from here, would you please, 2 of you to go together? Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
Testing. Sorry, I feel a little bit nervous.
It's okay.
I'm Wing from the mathematics education, so can I know my name? My name is Alex. Okay. So we are talking about the course objective. The second one, this the picture we decided that here's the news about some kind of security or privacy that we are discussing about in the picture. Is a kind of case study, I think. And then the one who present in out there is a student talking about his own idea. Then the other one, some may have some new discover from his idea, or some are having the ideas that is different from him, and some may agree on him. That is a meaningful. We are all sharing our ideas together, because this objective is a kind of teamwork. We should group together and share out our ideas. That it is. I heard from my teacher, he told me things that, for example, if I share an apple to Alice, and if Alice share an apple to me, then we both have one apple. But if we share our idea together, then I share my idea to her and she share my idea to me, then we both have two ideas. This is what this course objective can do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very good idea in interpretations. Thank you, Alice and Wing. Thank you very much. So before we carry on, we have used 2/3 of the second half hour. I would like to come back here and I would like to get to the core of this week.
This week, we explore 2 essential questions in this course. What is information security? Okay? What is information privacy? Now, information, ask yourself, what is meant by information? You have some idea, okay? Now, you can draw your picture afterwards to show your friends. But security, what's the first impressions about security? This is my purse. I have my ID here, I have my credit card here, something very private. So I need to keep it secure. If I don't do it, if I happen to lose it, what's going to happen to me? Or what's going to happen to you if your purse is lost? And you can think about this. Information security is very important because inside this wallet, I have a lot of my information that I would like not to share with people. Okay? If I happen to have my information leaked to someone else, I will not be secure enough. Someone is going to take money away from my bank account. Someone is going to use my ID card to do something bad on my name. So you know what is meant by information security. And because of that, you also can understand what is meant by information privacy. Okay? So everybody understand that. There's no big deal. But from a perspective of a course, okay, I want you to know it from a much more broadened perspective. So I would like you to go back to the reading list, look at some of those items there, and study it, and share with us your discovery next week, okay? It's not difficult. Whatever you share, it's very valuable, okay? We can just give you encouragement and points, okay? We cannot do anything other than that, just to praise you, all right? So, the important thing I would like to give you today is the idea of social engineering. So let's try to watch a very interesting episode, less than 2 minutes.
whether they design bridges or spaceships or computer software, will tell you that the best way to do anything is usually the simplest way. Computer hackers want to steal secret information have something in common with engineers. Though they are often highly skilled at finding technical weak points in computer security, they know that security depends as much on people as on technology. And the simplest way to get what they want is to take advantage of human security weaknesses. To do this, they use a set of tricks known as social engineering. What is social engineering? Well, it sounds like something out of a new sci-fi or spy movie, doesn't it? Well, that might be closer to the truth than you think. In fact, social engineering involves manipulating behavior through psychology. It could be as simple as conning someone into loading spyware onto their computer, or befriending them so they reveal secret information. In social engineering, the hacker is taking the path of least resistance. Why go to all the trouble of trying to break encrypted code to get the information they want, when you could just as easily call someone up and ask for it? In the following presentation, We'll go over all the ways someone may use social engineering to get what they want, and the strategies to help you recognize it and protect yourself.
Now that you know something about social engineering, you may not know all. You may not know what exactly it is all about. Now, I would like you to come together with the ideas that I just shared with you in this video and ask yourself the question, what exactly is social engineering? So I know it's very difficult for you to sit here, so you can go back to that corner, actually, the whole group, so that you have comfortable zones there. So talk about social engineering, okay? We are going to tell you the key, okay, in a minute after discussions of 5 minutes, okay? What is social engineering, all right? Feel free to talk about it, all right? What is social engineering? Can you study that in the Faculty of Science and Engineering? Can you study that in the Faculty of Science and Technology? You have 5 minutes only, okay? So discover as much as you can. Base your understanding of what's being said here. Wow, in the first day of class, Hopper introduced information security and privacy. I'm giving you a concept that is called social engineering, and you are asked to discuss about it, okay? So quiet? Any idea? Okay, may I ask you some question? Is social engineering a branch of engineering just like electrical engineering? No, right? Where can you study social engineering? Faculty of Social Science? Perhaps Faculty of Science and Technology? Not really. So what exactly is social engineering that you heard ladies said? It's the kind of thing that hackers use to what? It's tricks they use to steal information from people. Okay? That it's good enough. So how can you learn that? On January the 4th, 2012, in Macau, in the Macau daily newspaper, headline, it said, a woman civil servant, very senior in a particular department, fell trapped to some hackers over the internet, and she did transmit more than 840,000 Macau attackers in several sequences into different accounts of the hackers, believing that she's doing something right, and eventually she discovered that she was tricked. What's the technique used by the hacker? Not technology, social engineering. Okay, let me give you a very quick preview. Although this is week number 7, Okay?
Social engineering, lesson 1, the art of deception. The honest reality about your network is that in spite of all of the incredible effort that your network administrators put into protecting it, all of the firewall and antivirus software, all the additional security measures, there is one link that is always the weakest, and that link is you. So what is social engineering? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it's an outside hacker's use of psychological tricks on legitimate users of a computer system in order to obtain information he needs to gain access to a system. Or it's getting needed information, for example a password, from a person rather than breaking into a system. Or social engineering involves gaining sensitive information or unauthorized access privileges by building inappropriate trust relationships with insiders.
This was, I don't know, about 15 years ago. No, about 20 years ago. It was a Hollywood.
You will know this guy. We're going to introduce
A
him.
friend of mine, a guy named Stephen Rhodes at the time, was also a phone phreaker, and we decided we wanted to take a self-guided tour of the central office. So it was around 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and we had the door codes to all the different offices in Los Angeles, and we just let ourselves in, and we're roaming around the Hollywood CO. We're about on the 3rd floor, and then all of a sudden, this big guy, security guard, approaches us and goes, "Excuse me, yeah, do you have any ID?" And I go, "Sure, no." And I go in my pocket, and he says, "Oh, I must have left my ID in the car. I'll go get it, I'll be right back." He goes, "No." He goes, "Who's this guy?" And I go, "Well, he's just a friend of mine, and I want to take him on a tour. He's never seen the central office." He goes, "At 2:30 in the morning?" I said, "Yeah, we just got out of a movie, and my friend has always wanted to work for the phone company. And so I figured I'd just take him on a quick tour." And he goes, "Where do you work?" I said, "Well, I work in the Cosmos Center in San Diego." He goes, "Who's your supervisor?" And I told him the name of the supervisor. Incidentally, it was the correct name of the person at the San Diego Cosmos Center. And he goes, "No, you have to come, you guys have to come with us." So he escorts us to the elevator, and I know on the 9th floor is the switching control center, and that's where there's people up there because that office is manned. So you end up getting escorted up to the 9th floor, and there's about 5 or 6 people around, and the security guard's telling them the story. I found these 2 guys roaming around our building. This guy doesn't have ID. Let's find out what's going on. So one of the other supervisors, not a security guard, he goes, "What's your supervisor's name?" And I gave it to him. I said, "Well, listen, we can't wake her up. Because look, it's 2:30 in the morning. If you want, I'll go to my car, we'll go get my ID, and I'll be right back." Of course, I had no plans of coming back. So he says, "No, we're calling your supervisor." So he picks up our book, some sort of intercompany directory. You're thinking, well, they don't list phone telephone numbers in there. But apparently he had found some sort of notes or whatever, listing the supervisor's on the phone. So he calls the supervisor, 2:30 in the morning Saturday. He goes, "Listen, I found one of your employees, Steve, roaming around our offices, and he says he works for you." "Uh-huh. Oh, you want to talk to him?" "Sure." So he hands me the phone, and I go, "Hey, Sally, how are you? I'm really sorry that you were woken up, and I normally would never take a friend on a tour of a central office." And she's, as I'm speaking, she's saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" And I go, "Yeah, and by the way, Tuesday, we still have that meeting for that report, correct?" And she goes, "Who are you? Who are you?" Which I'm pressing the phone to my ear, so the other people in the room can't hear what she's saying. He's only listening to my side of the conversation. And I'm like having a calm conversation with her, and I said, "Listen, okay, I'm just going to take my friend around for about 15 more minutes and we'll leave, and I'll see you on Tuesday." And I went over and I walked about, it was like about 2 steps, and I hung up the phone. And I go, "Are you satisfied?"
Here are some comments from notorious hacker Kevin Mitnick. He said, "The weakest link in the security chain is the human element." And according to a March 2000 article in the Washington Post, he said, in more than half of his successful network exploits, he gained information about the network, sometimes including access to the network, through social engineering. He also said, you could spend a fortune purchasing technology and services, and your network infrastructure could still remain vulnerable to old-fashioned manipulation. These are the simple definitions for what a social engineer does, but how is it we are so easily tricked? Well, social engineering is not a new thing at all. In reality, it's probably as old as speech and goes back to the first lie itself. Social engineering is still successful today because people are generally helpful, especially to someone who is nice, knowledgeable, and/or insistent. And remember, social engineering cannot be blocked by technology alone. In fact, Kevin Mitnick, from his book The Art of Deception, brings out that people inherently want to be helpful and therefore are easily duped. They assume a level of trust in order to avoid conflict. It's all about gaining access to information that people think is innocuous when it isn't. Yes, it's true. We want to believe people. When we hear a nice voice on the other line insisting that we help them, or when we hear that they can help us, we want to listen to them. We respond. It's part of our trusting human behavior. Well, it is a fine quality to trust others, but we need to know when certain things should send up red flags in our minds. So even simple information that we think is unimportant may be used by a social engineer to hurt us or our company later on. So the key to protecting ourselves and our company from social engineering is to become more familiar with some of the tricks involved, and to have policies in place that prevent a social engineer from getting through our weakest links, us.
So, you have the first lessons today to understand what social engineering is all about. It's the art of deception, particularly through conversations, over the phone, through the internet chat, whatever it is. So watch out when you have a chat with people in the internet. Many of the people who fell trapped to this kind of internet tricks are victims of social engineering. The gentleman there doing the conversations, doing the demonstrations for you, recounting the story he did, is the named, very notorious hacker by the name Kelvin Mitnick. Interestingly speaking, after being jailed for more than 10 years, now he's the most famous consultant to the US government to fight against this. I'm going to show you stories about this, but come back to our website. Okay, definitely you can see more on week number 7. Okay, here is Kelvin Mitnick's pieces, but we are in week number 1. Okay, so come back to week number 1. So it's very interesting when you study information security and privacy. Go home, study these 3 links very carefully. This is a very interesting movie on hackers. Watch it and see what story you can read from that. You learn by watching movie, okay? All right, so you can share with us next week if you want to share with us the story of this movie. But make sure you don't forget the reading list. All right, that's it for today. I think it's more than enough, and I need to pack things up to go to the next class. All right, questions? Yeah, ask questions.
There's like a link there, right?
This is not further reading. These are the links to
Yeah.
enhance the reading.
Okay.
But you must choose from reading for week number 1. For next week's sharing. These are the reading lists.
Like, there are reading lists there, right? I can choose either.
Yes, not either. These are not compulsory, but choosing from the reading list is compulsory. Okay? But I would say both are very good. Okay? It's reading lists are very much tailored to the core syllabus. And these are the helpful YouTube video that help you understand much better. Alright? Okay? I see you next week on Monday. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Alright? Alright? Yes. Of course, whatever you can take. When you do the sharing. You don't need to do and remember all this. You can take it and use even PowerPoint or whatever it is. You can even go back to your online journal, the source book, right in there. Okay, whatever you did, it must come from your online journal. It's all right. That means you did something there.
Okay, nice to have you today. I will start taking attendance next week, not this week.
So that's it for today, September the 19th, 2013, CISG113, Section 3, Information Security and Privacy, Day number 2. Until next week,